Talking with famous people. McKenna, how are you?
Hi. I'm good. How are you?
I'm well, thank you. And thank you for being a guest here on Talking with Famous People.
Of course.
You just finished your first year of college.
Yeah.
What college are you going to?
I'm going to CSUN, Cal State Northridge.
And are you happy with that?
It wasn't my first choice. I was going to go to San Francisco State. I didn't even want to apply to CSUN because I was like, I'm not going there. It wasn't even an option to me. But when it came down to it, I got moved up a year, so I was a year younger, so I was going to be starting college when I was 17. I kind of just talked to my parents, and it made more sense to be closer to home.
I think it's wise personally, but I know that when you are in the throes of young adulthood, there doesn't seem a lot that's very attractive about staying within easy reach of your parents, probably.
Yeah. My main thing was like, I'll go to Northridge if I get to live over there, like if I get to dorm.
Do you like your roommate?
I hated my roommate. One of my roommates was psychotic. I had an apartment dorm, so it was my bedroom, and then I shared that room with another girl, and then there was another bedroom with two other girls in there. But the girl who lived in my room, she just got really weird. She was the kind of person that she didn't have any regards for anyone else whatsoever, and living with her was just impossible.
Famous people. Now, last I knew you, basically, you were posing for the picture that is currently my profile picture on Facebook.
Yeah. That was 7th grade? Or
That was
8th grade?
that was 8th grade. You're in the same grade as
Okay.
Brendan, right?
No, he was a grade older than me.
Oh, okay. That was 7th grade
Yeah.
for you then.
I went to Nats twice with you. I went to Iowa, and then I went to San Antonio.
Okay, so you went to the first two. 7th grade was San Antonio, and you did go to Iowa. That's right. Okay. In between there, you had 4 full years of high school. You didn't
Yeah.
stay at Rebay, right?
No, I ended up going to a private school in Burbank called Providence. It was a
Okay.
private Catholic school.
You're not
Um,
Catholic, though, are you?
No, not at all. If anything, going to a religious school kind of steered me away from it. It was nice learning about religion. Like, I was able to take world religion classes. One of my teachers was a sister. The
You
more
mean
I
she was a
learned
black
about
woman?
it, she was a nun.
Oh,
She was.
my mistake.
But yeah, it was interesting learning about it, but the more I learned about it, the more I just realized it wasn't for me at all.
It seems time consuming.
Yeah, I don't consider myself an atheist, but I believe that, like, the universe is huge, and I have no way of knowing. So I'm kind of just, I don't want to worry about things that I have no control over, and I rather just kind of do what I can right now.
You mentioned that you didn't have what you would call any specific theism. Like you said, it's pretty big. I mean, I guess it's the
Yeah.
biggest thing there is, right?
Exactly.
Everything is the biggest thing there is. I'm curious to hear you talk a little bit about what abstract models you operate under.
That's a tough question. I think it's just I try to challenge myself. I try to do the best I can, and I treat others how you would want to be treated, and just, I think everyone ultimately wants respect, everyone ultimately wants love, everyone ultimately wants understanding, and I try to give as much as I can to people.
I've reflected on occasion that really we don't face a lot of decisions in our lives that involve ethical implications. You point out one thing, which is, in a certain sense, just treating people nicely and kindly has its own ethical implications. But beyond those, do you find yourself facing ethical choices very often?
With that roommate situation, it definitely tested me. With that situation, I had to face a lot of my own anger, and I had to face a lot of my own just things that bothered me. There was one, I would call my mom, and I was like, I'm gonna beat her up. Like, I can't even deal with her. Like, I just want to fight her. And when I moved out, I was like, I'm gonna get revenge. My mom just talked to me, and, is that the person you want to be? That when someone does wrong to you, that you sink down to their level, I guess. I mean, in the moment when I was mad, I was like, hell yeah, I don't care. But, like,
Right.
once I calmed down and once I thought about it, I was like, you're right.
Me and people. a fairly frequent theme on Google News, pops up periodically, are these features or opinion pieces upon the culture of college campuses and how relationships between people of your age have changed. That you're no longer really settling into boyfriend girlfriend style relationships. That there's a sort of an amalgamous hooking up with assorted people in an extended group. Yeah. I wonder if you have any thoughts on if that's accurate, if that's just media nonsense.
I'm studying to be a journalist, so I follow a lot of the articles and media. It's true and it's not true at the same time. I definitely think the hookup culture is something that's gotten way bigger, and we don't think about the implications of things. Nowadays, there's apps like Tinder, which are literally just made for hooking up with people. You get a picture, and then you either swipe right for yes if you think they're hot, or you swipe left if you think they're unattractive. And they have the option of messaging you. And I just think, that kind of shows what my generation is valuing. Like, it's not like you get to talk to someone. It's not like you get to say hi before you make a judgment on them. And you literally look at their pictures, and you're like, oh, I don't want to be your friend, or oh, I want to hook up with her, or things like that. And I think it takes away from relationships as we get older, and it takes away from how we deal with people. I think also a lot of the hookup culture, there's a lot of disregard for other people's feelings. People are way more likely to get hurt through that kind of situation than if it were to be in a relationship. Because if you're in a relationship, you're both dealing with it. Obviously want to be with each other at some point in time, so you both feel the repercussions of breaking up or fighting. But in a hookup culture, it's based on physicality, and it's based on very superficial things, and that it's the wrong kind of value.
Well, you're talking about being in a relationship and developing eventually the weight of your obligations to the other person.
Yeah.
I would imagine that if one were to defend hookup culture, one would argue that because the encounters are so brief, that neither party is putting themselves much at risk emotionally. That app you talked about, it just sounds like two-person going to the bathroom. Let's meet to do this thing together.
I think it's the teen age. That's not really the whole thing yet. Maybe when you get in your 20s, that's more what's happening.
One thing that I've heard my daughter talk about is Snapchat. And it's designed so that you can't keep a record of the communications you sent back and forth.
Yep.
But that just seems insane. It seems completely backwards. Like, why would you want to not be able to keep a record of it? Why do you want to send stuff to people that you want to make sure they can't remember later, or what? I mean, I don't understand it.
Snapchat is really big in the cheating culture and the sneaking around kind of thing. Like, you Snapchat message someone when you don't want your boyfriend checking your phone and seeing that you're talking to them, that kind of thing.
That concludes another exciting edition of Talking with Famous People. I have been your host, Eric, and today we spoke with Famous Person Makenna. She'll return in later episodes. Our conversation continues on to such subjects as drama, writing, social justice, and Makenna's 4-letter personality code. Thanks very much for listening, and have a pleasant evening. Talking with famous people.